Now, this is something I've wanted to make for around 10 years now. Um, I'll get straight, quick to the point. I used to be very, very overweight, around 300 pounds, up until I was about 14, 15, maybe 16. Well, now I'm, an average weight of about, 200 pounds, and I'm 6 feet, so it evens out. I'm in good shape, basically. I was way too overweight. So basically, I'll start with the basics here. When I was born, I don't know. I started to get fat around 5 years old. Looking at my childhood pictures, I only ate hot and ready, as I remember that. I was very, very fond of those pizzas. You know. So as I started to be fat, I was always a normal kid, but as I started to get fat, started to sit inside, play video games all day. It was very unhealthy. I had friends online, but my real life friends were dwindling, my social life and everything. So one day, my father had picked me up from school randomly and just said, hey, you're getting fat. And it really hurt my feelings, but I was like, what the heck? So basically went to a park, started jogging, and I didn't make it nearly as far as I could. It was really an eye opener to how fat I was, how overweight I was. But all I received was support. After we started jogging, like every other 2 days to give your body time to rest, we would work out as well. We got some workout equipment from family, used off marketplace or anything you can find. We would work out one day, run another day, and rest for the third day, and we would repeat the process. Well, that only lasted for a short time, and I was still fat. But what happened was I started to go on my own, because my father, he's old, he can't, there's certain points. Nobody can do this for you. If you're struggling with being fat or being socially awkward or, you're unhappy about yourself, just get up and go do it. Um, like I said, I used to be 300 pounds, I was pretty fat. And, it's something you're going to have to do on your own. There's not enough time in one life for you to do all this with everybody or for, nobody's going to want to force you to be skinny. Nobody's going to have the time to help you with that. It's something you're going to have to make time and focus on and do yourself. Some things that I could tell you that I'll have to watch, that I had to watch out for, some things that helped me. I know I started to drink a lot of grapefruit juice. I know that it's something about it can help you burn fat after your exercise. Something healthy for you. Any healthy juice you like. You can eat what you want, just don't eat too much. Nobody ever tells you that once you get done being fat, you'll have a lot of extra skin and stretch marks that will never go away. No matter what type of cream you put on them, whether you get surgeries, even if you get surgeries, you're still going to have scars. Even if you do, you're still going to have some remembrance of you being fat. That is your badge, your remembrance, your trophy. And you can fill that in with extra muscle. The only way to get rid of that disproportionate body, because you're going to be fat, getting skinny, you're going to have a disproportionate body. So you'll have to fill that in with muscle, other things. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's been 10 years since I started working out, and my body is still not the way I want it to be. And then again, I've had a lot of other things to focus on. When you get skinny, you'll have a ton of life improvements. You'll have more friends, more people that care about you, more job opportunities. You'll be able to do more. You'll have more energy, but also you'll be less strong as you were before. You won't have as much strength, as much girth, as much push, as much force. But you'll be faster. You'll be able to do things for longer. You'll have more stamina. You won't be as much of a, pick this up and put it down and you're done guy. You'll be able to work all day. And my main thing is that, you're gonna have to watch for people. You're gonna have a lot of new friends, new faces popping up once you do this. But you'll have to do it on your own. You can have somebody push you into it, but it's your choice to stick into it and your choice to go through with it and see the results. And I'm telling you, it only took me a few short months you know, to start seeing myself, be like, wow, you know, that's such an improvement. Like I said, it's been over 10 years, and, you know, I tell you, there's not a better choice I've made than, you know, putting them video games down, putting that phone down, going outside, listening to some music, going for a run, or just even, you know, buying some weights to work out at home while I watch things on my phone, you know. But you gotta make your own choice, you know. Nobody can do it for you. And even watching this video isn't gonna magically make you in shape or get rid of that fat. Something you'll have to do on your own. It's a lot of hard work and effort, a lot of days sacrificed to being tired. But the opportunities you gain from it outweigh the hardships you'll go through. Just you'll have to trust yourself and know that it's worth it. And if there's anybody out there this has helped, if you guys ever want to see any photos of what I used to look like compared to what I look like now, you know, or maybe nobody will watch this video and it'll get lost in the archive. Hope you guys enjoyed.